if you'd like to introduce yourself, who you work for, and what you do within the business, please.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Les Jones. I work for Owen Mumford. Owen Mumford are an Oxford-based designer and producer of medical devices. We were founded back in 1952 by Ivan Owen and John Mumford, who are both, or were both, ex-apprentices. The company is still family-owned, but the sons of the founders now run the company. Currently, we have two manufacturing sites in the UK, one at Chipping Norton and one at Woodstock, which is our headquarters. And we're currently in the process of building a third facility over at Witney, which we hope to be open in 18 months to 2 years. We are a global company in that we produce in the region of 2 billion items per annum, and 90% of which are exported to over 60 different countries. We specialise in blood sampling and drug delivery devices for both medical professionals and for home use. So we don't actually make any drugs, but we do design and produce the items to deliver those drugs. Indeed, we are the sole provider for the world's biggest selling drug. It's a drug called Humira, and it's used in the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis. We also produce devices for the treatment of pets as well. We have vet pens, and we produce things like EpiPens and also auto-injection systems for multi-use delivery of drugs. Within the company, my role is to recruit, mentor, and manage our engineering apprentices, and indeed any other apprentices that we do bring into the company.
Great. And so how do those apprentices fit into the company? What sorts of roles do you have them doing, and are they across all departments, or do you do them in specific areas? I mean, what sort of people what sort of roles do you employ as apprentices?
Okay, so currently our main input in the apprentice level is for engineering apprentices. However, we do have a metrology apprentice working with the company, and we have our facilities department have done apprenticeships with us in facilities management, and we are about to embark on a large apprenticeship program under the science, manufacturing and process operators to do a level 2 apprenticeships for all our machine operators.
What sort of cycle do you tend to run in cycles? Do you try and take people on every year, or is it every couple of years, or how often do you try and recruit new apprentices into the business?
On the engineering apprentices, as you know, because of the nature of the course, our apprenticeships generally start in September of each year, and our goal is to recruit 4 engineering apprentices every year, and that's what we hope to do this year. With respect to the other apprenticeships, because of the nature of those courses, they can generally start at any time. We do recruit and start those apprenticeships on a needs-be basis.
Yeah. And what if you picked one of the engineering apprentices, can you take us through what their kind of role entails? What sort of technical skills they might get involved in within the company, and what sort of things they might learn as part of the apprenticeship?
Certainly, we recruit our engineering apprentices under the engineering technician level 3 standard, and we follow the mechatronic pathway. Mm-hmm. So the apprentices have a very wide variety. So they'd start off using basic hand skills with hand tools. They would then move into machining using CNC machines. They also become proficient in electronics, PLCs, or programmable logic arrays, pneumatics and hydraulics. So the full breadth of engineering disciplines are used. Within the company, our maintenance engineers are responsible for the maintenance of all on-plant equipment, generally injection molding machines. They come in a variety of guises. So we do have some very old indexing machines from the 1960s, which are very mechanically based and are used to put our devices together. And then we have some relatively modern injection molding machines, which use a mix of hydraulics and pneumatics to clamp the molds together. And our state-of-the-art machines are all electronically controlled and much quieter and cleaner to work on. So there is a full range of equipment for the apprentices to become proficient on, starting at simple mechanical indexing machines right up to state-of-the-art injection molding machines.
Brilliant. And you said, you mentioned at the start that you take a role in that's the mentoring of the apprentices, but then how does the actual learning kind of work in the business? Are they partnered with other people, other managers and things like that within each department, and then you sort of oversee that? I mean, how does that work within your organisation?
Yeah, so as you're aware, in the first 12 months of the apprenticeship, the apprentices are in college full-time. During that period, I make sure I visit the training provider and discuss the apprentices' progress at least once a month. When the apprentices then come into factory, what I do at the moment is I place them within our maintenance department at Chipping Norton. They'll do 3 or 4 months in that department, and then we'll flip them over to the Woodstock maintenance department, and then back into, and each time they go in there, they'll build up skills on different machines. A bit of an oddity, we are the same company in 2 different sites, only 12 miles apart, but they do work in 2 entirely different ways, but that does maximise the experience for the apprentices. When they're in their placements, they will work with an appropriate skilled technician dependent upon which particular machine they're working on. And we do also use our senior apprentices, so those in their 4th year, to carry on the training with their junior colleagues. So you do get that buy-in, and also we do find it's useful because the apprentice can say, remember when we covered this subject with such and such a tutor, and it can help that recall when they're becoming a bit rusty if they haven't worked on a particular system for 12 or 18 months.
Yeah. And so from an apprenticeship point of view, what do you think the benefits are for you as a business as to the employee you get at the end of it? I mean, what do you see as the real positives of using an apprenticeship to bring people into the business and train them?
It is a very varied thing. As you know, there is a perceived lack of engineers available within the UK. The figures we were looking at was a shortfall of 39 to 57,000 level 3 or above engineers coming up. So it is a highly competitive market out there. And what we found as a company is that we can employ people at the beginning of their working career, and I wouldn't say mold them into Owen Mumford employees, but they do come to us without any sort of preconceived perceptions. And as a company, we show that we are investing in those individuals, as well as doing the apprenticeship. We also invest a lot of company monies. For instance, our apprentices in their 3rd and 4th year, we pay for them to do a HNC with the company, and also various manufacturers courses as they come through, as well as general skills like forklift training. They get their forklift license. So we found that by investing in those young boys and girls, then they do have a sense of loyalty towards the company, and retention is quite greatly improved.
Yeah, no, that retention piece is something we hear a lot about apprentices, and the fact that they do generally stay with the company for a little bit of time after their apprenticeship. And what does that look like also in Owen Mumford? Do they all progress into roles after their apprenticeship? And is it are they roles that are always there, or do you have to find roles for people, or how does that sort of progression after the apprenticeship work?
So as I'm doing now with our apprentices that are due to complete this year, I'm engaging with our production managers to look at the final placements. So it gives the apprentice time to see what things are available within the business, and also for different areas within our business to meet the individual and get a feel for what that individual's like. We'll then, in discussion with the apprentice and the appropriate area manager, come up with an offer of a post-apprenticeship place within the company. if a role may not be available for a few months, then we may leave an apprentice in the maintenance department or in the mold shop for a couple of months prior to them moving into another role. And for instance, one of our apprentices that completed last year has now gone into a junior engineer's role, and we've started them off with an engineering degree. So we do continue to develop once the apprenticeship is over.
Yeah, it's a cracking opportunity to get a place with you guys and work with Owen Mumford, because I know you put a lot of time and effort and, as you say, money as well into not just the apprenticeship but the wider sort of learning of those young people as well. So how's the last year fared for you? Obviously, I presume you're busy,
Indeed.
but how has it affected how you deliver on site, and has it affected the apprenticeships in any way, or is it just carry on regardless?
There has been some effect. As far as the business goes, we were actually expecting a slightly quieter year last year. So with Brexit coming up on the horizon 18 months, 2 years ago, we noticed that the people that we supplied devices to were building up a stock of the devices because they were unsure as to what would happen with the market situation after Brexit. So we were expecting 2020 to be quiet while they used down their stock. As it was, COVID came, and we got an additional order for the NHS for blood lancets, 10 million items. So as a company, we did benefit slightly from that. As far as apprenticeship delivery goes, our apprentices that were in college, they switched to a mix of virtual learning, dependent upon which part of their apprenticeship they're in. So for instance, those in the first year carried on attending because they need to develop their hand skills. Those that were in their second, third and fourth years went to virtual learning, which reduced the capacity at each of the training providers to allow them to get the social distancing correct and other COVID safeguards.
And I guess if you were looking at or talking to other businesses and people maybe that aren't using apprentices at the moment, or were thinking about using apprentices, if you could pick 3 top tips of how to set up or how to manage a effective and good apprenticeship scheme, what do you think your 3 top tips would be for a company that aren't using apprentices as yet?
I think to understand the new apprenticeship standards, one of the biggest issues I've found with some of the older and bolder ex-apprentices who are now running the departments is they took a little while getting used to the 20% off the job training requirement. And it's important that all the placement managers understand that it's not a case of working a 12-hour day and then doing all your apprenticeship in the evening. When they went through their apprenticeship, things have moved on. I think it's also important to be able to support the apprentice. Owen Mumford have been very forward-thinking with this, and my role is a prime example. I am only concerned with the recruitment, mentoring and managing of apprentices. So if there is an issue, I don't have to worry about a section of people or a production line. I can liaise with the apprentice or the training provider immediately to smooth things out if required. And then over and all that is develop a strong relationship with your training provider. Go there, visit the site, get to know the people. That way you get a good, honest appraisal and feedback of the apprentices, and everybody works better when they know each other, I guess. So those are my 3 main things. Understand the apprenticeship standard, be able to support the apprentice, and also have a really good relationship with your training provider.
Yeah, brilliant. And we've always enjoyed working with Owen Mumford, and
Thank you.
it's a really forward-thinking company, as you say, and I think you give people such great opportunities. It's to be applauded, really. But look, thank you very much for talking to me. Hopefully this will give people an insight into how you do apprenticeships, and maybe create some other opportunities at some other businesses and things who want to follow your lead, and give some other apprentices some good opportunities out there. And thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Les.